Hello there. Recording. Hello there. So I've been still reading the book called The War of Art, and I've reached an important part of the book. So the whole book's point is trying to explain why we find it so hard to do the things we want to do. I think I covered part of that in my last video, but for those who didn't watch it, yeah, like every time you want to do something, you feel an unending rush of reasons why you shouldn't, or even just a physical feeling, you know, like before you want to start, I don't know, training or running or doing any physical activity, you just feel like the weight of the planet is just keeping you in whatever place you're at. And yeah, that's what he calls resistance. He focuses mainly on art because he's an artist, but I think resistance finds its place in many facets and parts of life. So today I want to talk about first of all, we've gotten what resistance is. I want to show you how it manifests in other facets of life. So resistance is also like just any right or good you want to do, it's just against it. So I imagine those times you really want to tell someone something and you don't, right? It's annoying, right? You really have to, but you start thinking, what will they think about me? What will be made of me, you know, like if I admit that I do this or that, how will I be perceived? I think that's a form of social mortality. Like we feel that if we do or say certain things, our social lives will crumble. You know, resistance. The other term for resistance is fear. Fear is the main thing that contains us, you know. It's what gives us boundaries. It's the whole point of boundaries most of the time. Some things are meant to be feared, others aren't. So like fear of social rejection, that's a poor fear, you know, because I don't know, even when you play by all society rules, you still find yourself rejected, right? Doesn't make sense. You know, you can be the coolest dude. I don't know how many times I see a new celebrity pop up and then 6 months later everyone thinks they're lame, right? Even if you play by societal rules, you'll still face penance for going out of line in whatever way the public chooses to perceive your actions. So that's an irrational fear, but the way you conquer fear isn't to rationalize out of it. You must simply march forward. You have to challenge it. The whole concept of the book is the war of art, and that's the war he's talking about. You against this resistance. So socially, yes, not bringing out what you have to say, or doing what you have to do socially, like or like a friend who's like engaging in a very bad behavior and you're just watching him, you know, but it's heavy within your heart to try and correct this friend, but you just can't. That's resistance. So I've also been watching this TV show called Severance. In Severance, the main character has a very unfortunate life event where his wife dies. So his wife dies, and this guy, his life is just thrown into turmoil. He's just drinking all the time. So in a bout to maybe escape this pain he's feeling, my G splits himself. He splits himself. Okay, and there's a company that does the splitting. Of course, it's not a magical movie, sort of sci-fi. Let's not get into the nitty-gritties. details or whatever, but yeah, he splits himself. Then the part of himself that works is much separate from the part of him that's outside, but still eventually they find themselves in conflict, and his life is even in more turmoil because there's two things he's supposed to be, but he can't be them at the same time, right? So every time you don't make the right decision due to resistance, you are in effect severing yourself. You're like splitting yourself, and now it's a battle between the better side of yourself and the worst side of yourself, and each one of those two is a weaker version of itself. Because let's go with the same friend situation. If you don't agree with your friend's behavior, right, you try and correct them and they keep on doing it, and if it affects you, you stop being friends with them and you can move on and find a different life, a different friend, or wait around till that friend comes to the realization that this activity is spoiling your friendship or even their own life. Then if you support it, I don't know, you do the whatever vice or thing he does, and you have fun. But when you're in the middle, when you're indecisive, which Resistance's favorite sport is indecisiveness, you just suck at both things. You're not really a supportive friend, but neither are you a correcting friend. It's just you're just severed. You have escaped all action, either negative or positive. Yeah, that's impartiality. I think the Bible says you are the salt of the earth, the light of the earth, whichever one. I don't think light is is mild, like a glowing lamp. When a place is dark, wherever you put a light, the focus is on that because it sticks out, right? Then darkness, darkness is dark. That wasn't the point. You not get caught up in metaphors, but yes, we find ourselves resisting, wanting to be decisive, to choose one thing or the other, and it's a major thing that stagnates us. You're just there always thinking about what could be because you're indecisive. If you're decisive, there wouldn't be a debate, but the fact that there's a debate means you have to make a choice, right? And often, let's just talk about things generally in life, right? It's a path between it's a choice between doing something or not doing something, right? Usually. So when you don't do something, you're just watching, you're just inactive. Sometimes it's the wiser move, but I'm talking about those things that scream to you, those things that if you don't do them, a week later you'll be just reminiscing to yourself in your bed like, why didn't I do that? Well, those things happen because you haven't tapped into yourself. So the self, I don't know, the book also just gets really Jungian out of nowhere. So in the last chapter, he details about how resistance ends up coming up from the ego. The ego just being whatever your mindscape is, right? All those emotions, all those thoughts, all those contradictions, that lies in every man. The part of you that acts in this world is the ego, right? Not to say that you're split. It is all part of oneself. But because there needs to be a manifestation of yourself in this world, you have an ego. That's why we're able to speak. We're able to say I. It is our sense of self. Yeah, it's the conscious sense of self. Though self is so many other things. So the self ends up being like this higher purpose. It's a part of you that believes in love, like real love, that believes in the future. The part of you that most religions claim lives on after you die. The part of you that wants to be one with God. In short, the good. So in this case, resistance often comes from an overfixation on ego, because your ego is just your physical manifestation. So you're trapped in your body, right? And when you're trapped in your body, you're gonna die, right? Yeah, you're gonna feel lazy. If you're quick to anger, you're gonna get angry. Whatever lower motivations will take over, will take reign. But from the self, from gazing up at better things, we end up doing better things. But it's a fight. You have to wrestle with yourself. In the same Severance show, there's a part where like one of the characters is going through the documents for this severance process. Then there's a part that shows like you versus you. It's like, okay, that's a nice little way of summarizing it. I think that's what we are supposed to be thinking about when you hear you versus you. It's not like you won't measure yourself up against any external metrics, but you are just trying to overcome yourself, because often your biggest stumbling block is yourself. So this was quite the ramble. But the summation is you have to look towards higher things. Get in touch with whatever manifestation of God you have. Could be the good, could be the God of the Bible, Islam. I don't know too much about the rest, but if it ends up with you making the right decisions, we all know in our heart of hearts what the right decision is. What you're supposed to be doing, how you're supposed to be acting, will become very clear to you if you find time within your day to just get in touch with this higher aspect of yourself. So every once in a while, if you're a Christian, read the Bible. I don't know if you don't subscribe to any religion or whatever, you just meditate on how you could have been better the last few days or the last week or in your life, or so that you start to point yourself in the right direction. Yeah, so thank you. This is just a video on, I think, the final chapters of this book I'm reading. I think I'll do, every time I finish a book or find any interesting idea from a book, I'll post it here. Otherwise, yeah, thank you for your time, and catch you in the next one.